The primary statement we use to make decisions in C++ is the if statement. The if statement analyzes a relational expression and then performs a set of statements, or at least one statement, executes one statement if the relational expression is true. So let me demonstrate that with a couple of short programs. We'll start off with a little payroll example. We'll actually prompt the user to enter the variable for hours. And now here's our if statement. If, oh, we need another variable here real quick. Let's do this. All right, let's start this over again. The if statement begins with the keyword if, followed by a relational expression. After the relational expression, write an open curly brace. You can put that at the bottom or on the next line or on the same line as I did. I'll go back to the traditional style, and then I'll show you the alternative style in a moment. This is called the if statement block. And in the block, we're going to put a statement or multiple statements that we want to execute if the relational expression is true. So here we might want to say rate times equal 1.5 to indicate that for hours greater than 40, or let's say for any of the hours that they work over 40, then the rate that this person is going to be paid is going to be 1.5 times their normal rate. And let's, just so that we can demonstrate how it works, let's add that into the bottom, and let's run the program a couple of times and see what happens. Taking a moment to compile. So let's enter the hours as 40 exactly. And so you see that the rate stays the same, 20.25. Let's run the program again. And let's enter 45. And then you see that the rate goes up to 30.375. So again, to analyze how the if statement works, we examine the relational condition, and if the relational condition is true, execute the statement inside the block. And understand this can be multiple statements. I'm trying to keep it simple. You can have as many statements as you need inside the block, and that's why you use a block. Now, let me demonstrate something just so you'll see it. Strictly speaking, you don't have to have the curly braces to represent the block in an if statement. However, it's become more accepted style now to use the curly braces, because if you don't, then you'll end up with some tricky logic that we're going to explain later in another lesson. So for now, let's just say you're going to always include the curly braces for the if block, even if it's just one statement. Now, the other thing I wanted to demonstrate is that you can use put the curly brace on the same line as the if statement or the relational expression. That's a very common style. It saves a little bit of space in your programming, and it's how I'll write code for the rest of this course. So let's look at one more example, another very simple one. So here's a string example. I better pound include string up here to make sure the program works correctly. And here we can say Whoops. Let's do this. Let me modify this program just a little bit. There we go. So here we're going to write a little phrase: if the string the user enters is equal to their password. So let's analyze the if statement. Here's our relational expression: entered equals password. If that is true, then we're going to say you are allowed in. Otherwise, nothing else will happen. Let's run the program. Let's make it false this time. And so you'll see nothing happens. I entered the password as 12345 and nothing happens. Let's do it again as let me in, and it says you are allowed in. So to summarize, the if statement is our primary means of making decisions in code, or in C++ code. And we do, well, that's true for any programming language really. And we form a if statement by the keyword if, followed by a relational expression, and then a block of code that we want to execute if the relational expression is true.